Hello, everyone, and welcome back to one of the final episodes of the TFTPod podcast for season number 3. I don't know if this will be the last one. I don't think it will be, because I think there's a couple of games. The season's not fully over. A-League finals is still to happen, and the European finals as well is still to happen as well. FA Cup final as well this weekend. So Europa League happens this week. Right. When does Champions League happen? If that's in another week, that's really painful. The 2nd of June, so in 2 weeks. So yeah, right. Okay. So I'll have to do an episode next week and an episode a week after that. I'll say this definitely won't be the last one. Next week might be the last one for the season. I don't know, but anyway, we're here now. I don't know why I'm looking ahead. Hope everyone is well. Hope everyone has enjoyed their week. The Premier League final day, Premier League season is officially over. English football not quite over. Still a couple of playoff games to go. I think the League Two playoff final is still to. I think the League Two playoff final is still to happen. The FA Cup final is still to happen as well. Is there any other? I don't know. I actually don't know. But yes, the Championship final is still to happen as well. Leeds versus Southampton. So yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting. But I hope everyone is well. I hope everyone enjoyed their final day, regardless or depending on what you did for it. I feel like in Australia, it's a good thing to do at 1 a.m. on a Monday. Yeah, because it's always 1 a.m. Monday morning, around about the late May, mid May sort of areas. It's a pretty good, it's a good kind of day sort of thing to it's kind of what to enjoy. So there was a couple of people. Went to a friend's house. A couple of people sitting down enjoying it. One City fan, one Arsenal fan. So it was very, very funny when Phil Foden smacked it in top corner inside its first 3 minutes, which I'll touch on. But regardless, I hope everyone enjoyed whatever they did. I know a lot of people just didn't watch it because I thought it was a formality, and I do tend to agree that it probably was a formality. It probably was a formality. Probably... no, I was going to say after the 2nd minute, but it was a formality probably just generally, I think. So I know some people who just didn't watch it. I could never do that. I always hold on hope. Like even when City went 2-0 up, I was like, nah, there's a twist in the tail here. But yeah, everyone is well. Regardless, I've already said that countless times. But yeah, otherwise I'm swell. Great. Uni semester is coming towards a close, which is awesome for my time. Awesome for my time and my ability to rest and chill, which is great. Future for this podcast, that's something we'll touch on probably next week, and we'll see what I'm going to do around that. So yeah, this week we'll just enjoy it, and then I'll touch on what we're going to do maybe for next season potentially, and for etc. The future of this. So yeah, a couple of things to speak on. We're just going to speak about the final day, speak about the shenanigans that happened, speak about City, speak about Arsenal, speak about the teams that went down. Speak about FA Cup finals, A-League. Just going to speak about the whole lot. But before we kick things off, a couple of things. Make sure you subscribe to the TFTPod podcast on YouTube. Share it around, notification bell, like it, all that good stuff. It does mean more than the world. Furthermore, adding on to that, all the social links are in the description of YouTube. All the relevant links and all the relevant links to, the audio platforms. They exist. Go check those out. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor, the works. Would mean more than the world. Fit check. This might be a slightly extended fit check. But this is I don't know what to call it. This is what I like to call football-based apparel. Now, this is a shirt from, as you can see here, Football Town. Wrong side. Football Town. Football Town is a website that sell, I think, a really, really cool kind of minimalist top. So this is a retro France inspired kit with the French cockerel. The here with the dark blue, and it's coming across purple on the screen. It's dark blue, with the blue and the white and the red kind of stripes with the collar. It's got number 10 on the back, and then it says it's got Zizou in kind of calligraphy, which is really cool. I think one of the reasons why I love football shirts, and I think this might be I might start a podcast about football shirts and culture, because I do have a soft spot for that. But one of the reasons why I love football shirts is because I like the versatility of a lot of, especially retro ones, because nowadays most football kits nowadays are very cookie cutter, clean plastic. They fit they're fit to be a football shirt. They're not fit to be just a normal t-shirt. So you can't really wear current football kits. There are some exceptions, of course. You can get like baggy ones, you get oversized ones, etc. But the retro football kits, especially with the collar, with the unique designs, with the slightly baggier fits, with the heritage, with the culture, especially international kits as well. There's just something about retro football kits that I really like. And this one, whilst this isn't like exactly a retro football kit, I've worn some other ones in the past. This gives off that vibe with the collar. It's got the material is quite it's got a material of like a t-shirt as well, so it feels nice. It feels kind of slick to wear, and it also gives off that nice, cool kind of slick vibe. So yeah, Football Town, if anyone is watching, you can sponsor me. That'd be awesome. We've got like 400 shirts of yours in the wardrobe. This is just one of many of the retro sort of designs that they have brought out. I've got an England one. The England one has Paul Gascoigne on the back, I think. I've got an Argentinian one which has Gabriel Batistuta on the back. So I actually have... Does it? I think it does. I think it has Batistuta on the back. I can't quite... I think it does. Argentinian strikers. Yeah, I think it's Batistuta. So I actually have 2 Batistuta tops, which is quite funny. And then I have a Brazil one with Phenomenon. R9. That guy here on the back, which is really cool as well. So yeah, that's just the fit check for the day. So now, let's move on. Let's actually crack on to what I'm going to speak about. Let's just speak about the final day. Let's just speak about the final day, shall we? Now, a lot of people had reserved kind of judgments about the final day. Like I said, a lot of people that I know didn't watch it because I thought it would be a formality. I went into the day thinking, or went into the match days thinking, something has to happen, right? There will be a moment. There will be a moment where everyone kind of goes, "Oh my god, no way." That's just how it works. I'm not going to sit here and say that. Like, I never once believed that City were just going to win comfortably, which I ended up doing, but we'll touch on the moment. The City game kicked off a little bit later on than the Arsenal game, which I mentioned at the time, and I thought, well, that's quite a funny sort of, I wouldn't say scripting of it, but it's quite funny how they have the City game finish after the Arsenal game, or start at least after the Arsenal game, so if everything follows as it should, that game will finish later, and just in case the drama and the narrative and stuff, I thought it was quite funny. But regardless, the game kicks off, and then within 3 minutes, City are 1-0 up, and Phil Foden scores, and it's a joke of a footballer, like an actual joke of a footballer. Like, to do that, that is arguably one of the bigger games that it's in the top 5 biggest games that he's played in his career. And for him to do that so early on after the season that he's had, to just rifle it in the top corner, it's like, gee, like, he's good. He's like bordering on best player in the world sort of territories right now. Like, he's got to be within that conversation. The impact that he's had at City this year has been unbelievable. He's been their best player, probably pound for pound, in that City team. He's probably been the best player in the league as well. And for him to do that at such a young age in such a star-studded City team where he can get caught hiding at times, or he could have at least in the past, this season he's just put that flag in the ground and said, no, I am the best player in this team. I'm the best player in this league, and I'm going to show it when the chips are down and when we need someone to step up. 2 minutes into the final league game of the season, all we need is a win, and we win the title. Bang, top corner, left foot, no dramas, League One. Unbelievable, so good. And everyone that I was with kind of looked at each other and was just like, oh well, that's the league. we kind of just like resigned ourselves to the fact that that'll probably do it. But we all, it was a really weird moment because it was such a good goal, and it was such a I think you kind of get lost between the two thoughts of you kind of get lost between the two thoughts of that's such a this sucks because the day's ruined. Essentially, City have won the league. There's no drama, but you get stuck between that kind of dismissive nature of it and the appreciation of holy shit, that is a really good goal by a really good footballer. You kind of just have to sit back and applaud it. It was the when they panned over to the Emirates on the split screen on Optus Sport, and we saw the fans' reaction as they figured out that City have scored. It was like, okay, like if I felt part of me felt sorry, part of me wanted to laugh, because I think Arsenal fans probably should have gone into that day expecting the most anticlimactic sort of day and the most anticlimactic finish, I should say, to the season. Because realistically, well, we all knew what was going to happen. City have learned from their past two mistakes, we thought, and we at least think, and obviously they did. So, yeah, unbelievable goal, and then not long after, City double their lead. Was it like in the kind of the 10th, the 20th minute, was it? Yeah, the 18th minute, Foden doubles his lead, cut back from Doku, 2-0. Just that was a moment where we were like, oh yeah, game over. Underwhelming, anticlimactic, etc. And then Everton go 1-0 up from a free kick, which was hilarious, which was just so funny because Arsenal put themselves in a position where they could believe and they could go, okay, there's one game, maybe West Ham can pull a result out of their ass, get a draw, and all we need to do is beat Everton, who are playing for nothing at home. No Saka in the squad, which was interesting. I don't know how injured he actually is, but it was like, okay, we can actually do this sort of thing. Like if things go our way, we can do it. And then for Foden to do that twice within 20 minutes, and then was it Idrissa Gana Gueye who scored the free kick? I think it was, wasn't it? Yeah, for Idrissa Gana Gueye to score that free kick, for it to deflect off Rice as well, who came over for 100 million against the team that Man City are playing, or from the team that Man City are playing. I just thought was quite a very good, ironic bit of poetry, and yeah, it was very funny. Very funny, in my opinion, from a neutral perspective, but for an Arsenal perspective, it was obviously heartbreaking, I can only imagine. And then only a couple of minutes later, well, a couple of moments after that, Mohamed Kudus scores a fucking worldie, like a worldie of a goal. And this was the moment because Kudus scores and then Arsenal equalise almost instantly. So within about 5 minutes, Everton go 1-0 up. The league is done. Then West Ham get one goal back and then Arsenal equalise. So all of a sudden it's like, hold on. Within 2 minutes, it's completely flipped. And realistically, it's like one of those things. Momentum is such a funny thing, right? Because if Arsenal, momentum is such a funny thing, right? So the results at that time were 1-1 and 2-1 to Man City, right? But because Arsenal had come from behind to equalise, and because West Ham had come from behind to get one goal back, the momentum felt like it was in Arsenal's favour, and it felt like, oh my god, like this could actually happen, like the upset could actually happen. If you want to kind of flip it and reverse it, if Arsenal had gone 1-0 up and conceded to Everton, and West Ham had gone 1-0 up and conceded 2 goals in 2 minutes against Man City, it would have been like, oh well, City won the league, who cares? Do you know what I mean? Like, it would have been such a big high and then an even bigger downfall. Whereas this one was like a slight downfall, but then like a slight high again. Quite bizarre and quite funny, I think. So, yeah, the vibes and the halftime came and everyone was like, hold on, this couldn't happen, could it? This couldn't happen. I think a lot of people were expecting it just... Look, that was the twist that I thought would happen. I didn't think... look, at halftime, I was like, I don't think City are gonna let this happen. I just can't. I didn't really have much stock in the Arsenal game because it was all about City. Like if City just won, then the Arsenal game would have been irrelevant. But my mind was like, there's no way City let this happen again. They're going to come out. They know what to do now. They know what to do. They've been in Champions League finals. They've been in FA Cup finals. They've been in this position before. They know what to do. They know how to kill games. They know how to just really ice it. So I was never worried about I was never truly letting myself believe. I knew that there would be a moment before the game, even when City went 2-0 up, I knew that there would be a moment. And when Kudu scored that goal, I go, okay, if they get another one quickly, then we're on. But if they get to halftime and they can settle, then it's going to be game over. But I saw this tweet. I can't remember who tweeted it, but it was something like Arsenal fans getting all excited, neutral fans getting all excited, all for Roger to score in the 47th minute. And while it quite wasn't the 47th, I think it was the 60th, was it? I think it was basically bang on the hour mark. It was the 59th minute. There you go. Rodri scores shit goalkeeping from Areola. I'm sorry. Like, you've got to have a stronger hand to that. If you're gonna get there, you need to really punch it. Like, you need to really get your hand behind it and push it out. That's poor goalkeeping. But yeah, that goal really put the dagger in the heart, I think. I think the mood at the Emirates soured quickly after that. Because that was when it was like, okay, West Ham have got one back. They could carry that momentum, and then as soon as City get that goal, it's like kind of game over. So, a bit disappointing. Arsenal eventually did get their goal back through Kai Havertz very, very late on, but that was all to no avail. City win the league. Spoke about it last week. Good on them. 4 in a row. No one's ever done that before. Pretty good. They're pretty good. They're a pretty good football team. Arsenal are a pretty good football team as well, but City are just 1 point better or 2 points better, which shouldn't be the margin. But in how tight and competitive, especially at the top, the Premier League is, that's what the margin is. 2 points, 1 point, one draw in August, one draw in February can decide the league. How mental is that? But 91 points, I think they ended up on, or 89 points, I think it is. Was it 89 and 91? Yeah, 91 points City, 89 points Arsenal. It's an absurd tally to not win the league. It's an absurd tally to not win the league. It's not quite 99 or 98 or whatever Liverpool got, but it's still an absurd tally to not win the league. So you got to give credit to Arsenal. You got to give kind of slight commiserations to Arsenal there. But it's so very unfortunate, very stiff, and you do sit back and think what could have been, depending on some results. Obviously, I think they drew at both grounds this season, if I'm not mistaken. They drew both at the Emirates and at the Etihad, I think. I can't quite recall. I know they drew definitely at the Emirates. No, they drew at the Etihad, I think. Yeah, they drew at the Etihad. Can't quite remember what happened at the Emirates, but it wasn't quite as destined to be as last year, I don't think. I think Arsenal were kind of the third place team for a lot of people. And then when Liverpool fell away quite underwhelmingly, then City became the first and then Arsenal became the second. So, yeah, there you go. I don't think there's anything more to add. Congratulations, City. Commiserations, Arsenal. Football's cruel. Football is very, very cruel. And, yeah, football very cruel. So there you go. Some other things happened. Liverpool's last day, the ceremonies around Klopp I thought were pretty cool. They got that 2-0 win, which was great for them. The final day around Klopp for Liverpool, the final day at Liverpool around Klopp I thought was pretty cool. Do the "You Never Walk Alone" before the game, the Arnie Slot chant at the end of the game afterwards when he was doing his speech, I thought was pretty cool. It was a nice commemorative moment to end the tenure of a very decorated and appreciated manager, probably one of the most appreciated managers at a football club in a long time, because of the hole that they were in and where he was able to drag Liverpool back to. I think it's a pretty good achievement and a pretty good kind of tenure to be appreciated. So full credit to him. It was a pretty good day. They got that win, which is good for them. Good at home. I don't know if the statue's going to get there. I don't know if the main stand's going to be named after him. I think they have to commemorate him in some regard, because he's been too good and too precious for them not to. I think it'd be very, very harsh to just ignore him, or not ignore him, but to ignore him once he leaves. I think a stand or a statue or something along those lines would be commemorative or fitting. One of the words is the correct one. So yeah, there you go. United won, which is good for them. Chelsea won. Kai Soda scored from halfway. That's pretty insane. What else happened? Nothing else happened. Because all the games were decided. Newcastle won. Palace smacked Villa. Were Villa still drunk? What lineup did they play? No, it's rotated enough for me to realise that it's a rotated team for Villa. So there you go. But Palace are good. Eze needs to go to the Euros. They should just drag Elise on with him. I don't even care if he's French. They should just bring him on the plane. Tottenham won 3-0, which was good for them. They secured 5th. So 2 points of Champions League football for Ange Postecoglou. That final month of the season did cost them. But look, it was a pretty good run. It was a pretty good run for Ange. 2 points, 20 wins, plus 13 goal difference. It's not bad. They only considered 61 goals, which in comparison to teams around them is actually pretty good. Like the same amount as Villa, 2 less than Chelsea, 1 less than Newcastle, 12 less than West Ham. They're 13 less than West Ham. So they for a manager that doesn't concede, like for a manager that is defensively flawed, done pretty well defensively in comparison to a lot of other teams. So there you go. Good for him. The teams that went down: Luton, Sheffield United, and Burnley. It's 3 up, 3 down, wasn't it? Yeah, 3 up, 3 down. Is it? Yeah, because Forest won the league last year. Yeah, 3 up, 3 down. Disappointing. Hopefully, Leicester, Ipswich. Ipswich will be good at the league. Ipswich will be really good at the league. I like that. I like Leicester being back there. They've won it. I like the King Power. And then Leeds. I hope Leeds win. I like watching games at Ellen Road, and I like the narrative around Leeds. So yeah, there's that. Any other kind of, what else do I have on my run sheet? Normally the final day offers a lot of talking points, but I don't really think there is many talking points this final day, because I spoke about it. I did a wrap up of like most things last episode. I did bookmark a tweet of some of the funny things that happened in the season. Of some of the funniest things that happened in the season. I think so. Some of the things that happened here. Heung-min Son's. So these are just some funny things that happened during the season, which I think we can wrap up on. Heung-min Son's 1-1 versus Man City on the second final match day. Unbelievable. Like just Oh yeah, I didn't even speak about that. Oh, let's speak about Ange quickly, because that game happened midweek, didn't it? Yeah, so I didn't even get a chance to speak about that. There you go. So, Tottenham fans... Actually, that's a great talking point. I could speak about this. Tottenham fans being angry at Ange, or Tottenham fans wanting their team to lose, and then Ange defending himself, and then Tottenham fans getting on Ange's back. It's one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen in terms of discourse between manager and fan base, right? Because obviously Ange Postecoglou wants to win every single game, obviously, right? And obviously Tottenham fans want to win every single game, asterisk. So that communication is great. Manager wants to win, fans want to win, good stuff. When one of those parties don't align, that's when the friction starts, right? And it's very rarely clubs want to see their own team lose. This was a extenuating circumstance that happens very, very rarely, if ever again, or ever before / ever again. Ange is well within his right to say, hey, look, I'm concerned. My concern is about the Tottenham. My concern is Tottenham. Hotspur. My concern is about Tottenham. My concern is about Spurs. I don't care about any other team, right? Ange is well within his right to say that. The fans are also well within their right to be like, hey, this rivalry means a lot to us. We do not want them to win the league by any means necessary. Both parties, in my opinion, are just to a certain extent to feel the emotions that they both felt, right? the attacking from either side, and look, I'm not going to sit here and just blindly praise Ange. I think the way that he's handled some of the media the last 7 days has been bad. Right? I think it has been underwhelming, or not underwhelming. I don't think it's been good. Right? I'm not going to sit here and blindly praise Ange because I'm a realist. I love him, and he's one of my favorite people in football. But I'm not going to sit here and just be blind to it. Right? Some of the way he's handled the media, some of the ways he's handled some fan interactions, I don't think has been the best. I'm not saying it's been bad, but I think it could have been a little bit better. What I will say is that the fans need to understand that their comeback of, well, we wanted to win against Arsenal, we wanted to win against Newcastle, we wanted to win against Chelsea. Yeah, so did Ange. And guess what? Teams are good. Like, the team that they versed are all half-decent football teams. Sometimes you don't win every single game. It doesn't mean that Ange is set up or doesn't want to win those games either. Do you know what I mean? Ange goes into every single game with the same mentality of wanting to win 100%. Tottenham fans have shown that they don't go into every single game, for rightly or wrongly, wanting to win 100%. So you can't sit there and question Ange's integrity when your integrity is clearly being... when your integrity is being fractured, in a sense. It's weird, though, because Tottenham fans are also right... are in the right with their integrity being questioned. Like, are in the right with the fracture of their integrity to a certain extent because the rivalry meant so much. I don't subscribe to the fact that I don't subscribe to the theory of Ange not understanding the rivalry. That's just stupid, right? That's just stupid, right? He managed Celtic. Right? He managed South Melbourne. And for those who don't know, South Melbourne have had some pretty... He managed and played for South Melbourne. He knows what rivalries are, right? He knows what rivalries are. And I don't necessarily think that the Arsenal-Tottenham rivalry is a rivalry that needs to be educated about. Everyone knows how much both fans hate each other. Everyone knows how much both clubs hate each other. It's very, very well publicised, probably ad nauseum. So I don't think Ange needs to be educated about rivalries. I just think it's one of those things where I just don't think it's one of those things where you need to question. It's an isolated incident that I think everyone can move on from. I think, but Angie's correct in saying that Angie's correct in my opinion in saying that the foundations of that club are very how do I describe it? Are very shaky, because every single person employed for Tottenham would want the best for Tottenham, and wanting the best for Tottenham is wanting Tottenham to win every single game. But when rivalries get involved in that, and when nuance and when history and when external factors get involved, then it becomes a sticky situation, which I completely understand and sympathise with. So, yeah, it's one of those things. It is one of those things, which is very difficult, in my opinion. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents on on that Edge situation. Any other kind of funny things that happened during the season that I can kind of speak about very briefly? I don't. These are just Anthony being funny. Anthony's so bad. The Chelsea players fighting for a penalty was just all time just shithousery. Mo Salah arguing with Jurgen Klopp, which is quite funny, which I spoke about. So pretty entertaining year of the Premier League, if I do say so. With the points deductions, with the battle at the top, with Chelsea being shit, United being shit, Newcastle underwhelming. It's been a pretty entertaining year. It's been a pretty entertaining season. Love this sport. Best sport in the world. Best game in the world. But let's move on. Let's move on from final day stuff. Let's move to the Australian A-League. Now, let's speak about a grand final, shall we? On Saturday night at Gosford, it will be Central Coast Mariners versus the Melbourne Victory Football Club. Wow. I'll speak on the Victory game first. This club is going to kill me. That was insane. Victory win 2-1 away at Wellington. Haven't won there at all this season. As I go in and out of focus, I'm back. There you Haven't won there all season in Wellington. Drawn one, lost one, and Adama Traore's strike with 12 minutes to go, whatever it was, put us 1-0 up, and then Oscar Zavada heartbreakingly in the 99th minute. In the 9th minute of 8 stoppage time, scores only for Chris Economides to get on the end of a Roderick Miranda flick on at the near post from the corner to bundle in Victory's second goal of the game, subsequent winner at about the 100th minute. For a couple of things. That penalty that was given to Wellington in the second half, was an absolute disgrace. And the refereeing that we saw in the game after, up in Gosford, ironically, was even more of a disgrace, right? The standard of refereeing in this country is unbelievably bad. It's so appallingly bad, the standard of refereeing in this country. It nearly ruined, and arguably did ruin, at least one of a couple of very entertaining, or potentially very entertaining, very dramatic semi-finals. It nearly ruined the one in Wellington, and I would go as far as to say that it did ruin the one in Gosford. Unbelievable. Should not be the standard. But what more can you say, right? Regardless of that, Victory's resolve to fight back, Paul is saving the penalty. Victory's resolve to fight back in that game was unbelievable. A very good strike by Adama Traore. He's only his second ever A-League goal, I think. His second ever A-League goal for Melbourne Victory, I know that for sure. Unbelievable. Just an unbelievable strike. And I thought that was it. I thought we were going to be the Heartbreakers in that cruel and painful way. But I don't know how on earth that happened, but the ball got over the top of Costa Barbarouses, flicked it onto a marauding Oscar Zavada, who coolly finishes in the bottom corner. A heartbreak. I was so angry because we should not have put ourselves in that position in the first place, but we were there and we had to get out of it. And with half of our team on the bench because we had decided to try and kill the game, Economides, who has been so average in his Victory stint so far, and it might be his second last game ever at Melbourne Victory, just put himself in the right place at the right time. Got on the end of a Miranda flick on goal. We held on for dear life. Unbelievable. And I genuinely see us winning it now. Obviously, Central Coast did what they had to do. Against City FC. Referee mistakes or not, they didn't concede. They didn't score 0-0. They did what they had to do. That incident with their one of their coaches getting sent off and then flipping the bird off to the camera, unbelievable. The best league in the world. It's genuinely the best league in the world. So that was quite funny. But apart from that, they did what they had to do. Now, previewing that grand final. Obviously Victory played against Central Coast very early on in the season. It was a 1-1 draw. Bruno Fornaroli scored what I think is the best goal ever scored in the history of ever. But I will double check the fixture history between Central Coast and Melbourne Victory this season. So that game ended 2-2. They played again in what did they call it? What did they call Magic Round, Gather Round? When every team played in Sydney, it was a Jing Reese 89th minute equaliser off a Daniel Arzani penalty in the 33rd minute to make it a 1-1 draw. I completely forgot what they called that round. It was I don't know. I completely forgot. That's so bad for me. That's so bad. I should know that. And then, of course, Victory hosted Central Coast in February and lost 1-0. So, once again, another team that Melbourne Victory have not beaten at all this season, just like they didn't beat Wellington. But that doesn't mean that they can't do it when it matters. Zinedine Marchach will be back. He probably will fit straight back into the lineup. I can't imagine him not playing of a man of his quality. It means that the cavalry off the bench will be even stronger. You expect three. You expect the likes of Economides, Khalifi, Falami, either Brimmer or Bonavacia or Valadon to be able to come off the bench. That's 4 pretty handy footballers coming off the bench if needed. So And then you have Casey Boss, who came on and made an impact in the derby in the elimination final. So victory. Central Coast have probably been, Wellington have probably been the best team all year, but the way that they've fallen late on was very heartbreaking for them. Central Coast have probably definitely been the second best team. Victory have probably been the third best team. It's the first time Gosford has ever hosted a grand final. I'm happy that it is in Gosford and they didn't move it to Sydney like they did it last time, like ages and ages ago when Central Coast hosted it, or finished top or were the home team. I genuinely see Victory. I genuinely see Victory doing it. I genuinely see Victory doing it. It's set up to be the ultimate villain arc, but Tony Popovic in big games has proven that he doesn't really know how to coach out the big games. He's lost 3 grand finals in his A-League career. He's 0-3. Is it fourth time lucky? Is it a change of scenery? Is it the fact that he probably for the first time in those 3 in the history of his trips to A-League grand finals will probably be the underdog? He was probably the favourite in Perth when they hosted it, and was probably the favourite against Central Coast when he was coaching Western Sydney, and was probably the favourite against Brisbane as well. Actually, he probably wasn't the favourite against Brisbane. But, he's shown in the Asian Cup final for Western Sydney when they were the underdogs what he was able to do. So, maybe it's the ultimate villain arc. Maybe it's the ultimate... sort of underdog, backs against the wall story. I really hope it is. I'm not making the trip up, unfortunately. I just can't justify the prices at the moment, which is a bit of a shame, because I would have loved to have gone. If it was at Amy, I definitely would have gone, but Central Coast do have the right, so fair play to them. My heart says 1-0 victory, similar to the Heist of the Hunter in 2018. My head, if I had to bet on it, if I had to bet all my savings on it, I would go Central Coast 2-0. That's what I would go with. But I have this belief that Victory are going to do it. I have this inner belief that Victory are going to do it. I don't know where it's coming from, but it's here. And I feel like it's valid. So I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. That's on Saturday night, of course. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see when it comes off that behalf. But apart from that, I think we're it for this episode. I'll be back next week reviewing FA Cup finals, reviewing Europa League finals, Atalanta versus Leverkusen. I really hope Leverkusen win and maintain that undefeated streak. I really, really hope so. FA Cup final, Manchester City will probably... Manchester City will probably win. I'd be shocked if United were able to overcome them, to be honest. And then the Serie A final day as well, but I think that league's obviously been decided well and surely in advance. A couple of Champions League spots and Europa League spots to be decided, and relegation battle to be decided as well. A couple of interesting battles in there. So there you go. I'll be back next week reviewing all of those, and then I'll give you my kind of wrap up of what the future holds for this podcast next week. So yes, thank you very much for watching another episode of the 2 Foot Attack podcast. Make sure you subscribe, like all that good stuff. Like I said at the beginning, stay well, stay safe. I will see you all next week. Thank you all for joining me once again. It's been a fantastic Premier League season. I cannot remember my predictions, so I'm not going to go back and review them, but just assume that I got them horrendously wrong, because I think I did. So yeah, thank you all very much for watching another episode of the 2 Foot Attack podcast. Stay well, stay safe. See you guys next week, and goodbye.